We begin today's wrestling news and rumors video with a bit of news regarding the head of the table, Roman Reigns, who has recently once again gotten himself into a bit of hot water with many wrestling fans over some comments he had made recently. For those of you unaware, Roman Reigns was recently interviewed by Complex, and during the conversation, Roman was asked about the idea or scenario of one day having a match against AEW's CM Punk. Here's Roman Reigns' exact response to the question surrounding a potential match with CM Punk. So I answered a question similar to this a while ago, and it falls back to what our audience wants to see. If our audience wanted to see it and they were clamoring for it, couldn't be quiet about it, and all the stars aligned, as a businessman and as a performer who is trying to seek out the very best for the audience and try to captivate, I wouldn't say no. But I mean, on a personal level, it does not really do anything for me. That's not going to elevate me at all. He's older now, I haven't really seen a full match, I've seen a clip or two, and to me a step or two has been lost. Then also he got his whooped in the UFC. I don't think anybody really believes someone 200 pounds soaking wet with no explosive bone in their body could ever really do anything to me. I'm 6'3", 265 pounds, a legitimate athlete who can throw some weight around and has been on the gridiron at the highest level, D1 All-ACC. I probably would have maintained in the NFL if my health issues didn't happen when I was 22 years old. So I mean, when it comes down to it, I'll throw him and pretty much the rest of that roster out at the club no problem. They're just little brothers, you know? Now, as expected, Roman's response about CM Punk caused quite the uproar from the wrestling community, and more so the AEW fans and even more specifically CM Punk's fans, as Reigns brushed off CM Punk in quite a big way. This has not surprisingly caused a big debate amongst the wrestling community between Roman Reigns and CM Punk, with some feeling as though Roman is right and that CM Punk is not on his level or has lost a step, whereas others claim CM Punk to be better than Roman Reigns in every imaginable way. Regardless, let us know your thoughts on Roman Reigns' comments regarding CM Punk, and do you agree with Reigns, or is CM Punk still a big deal and much better than Roman was giving him credit for? Let us know down in the comment section below. Whatever the case may be, the WWE vs AEW battle and saga continues. Now, speaking of CM Punk, we have a bit more noteworthy news regarding Punk coming from a WWE Superstar, this time the former SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks. Now, heading into tonight's SmackDown episode, Sasha Banks put out a tweet regarding her match against the SmackDown Women's Champion Becky Lynch, with a caption for Sasha's tweet reading, "It's clobbering time," which not surprisingly garnered a huge reaction from fans given the fact that this is AEW's CM Punk's well-known catchphrase. The fact that Sasha Banks mentioned CM Punk, however subtle it may seem, surprised a lot of fans. While Sasha Banks did not directly mention CM Punk and it was more of a subtle tease, given CM Punk's shaky relationship with Vince McMahon and WWE, especially now that CM Punk is back in wrestling and working for WWE's competition AEW, it's doubtful that Vince McMahon or upper management are happy about Sasha's tweet containing an innuendo or hint about CM Punk. But it is unlikely that Sasha Banks will get in any sort of significant trouble because of this, and may simply be told not to mention wrestlers from AEW moving forward, regardless of how subtle it was or may seem. Sasha Banks has made it clear in the past that she was a fan of CM Punk, but given the WWE and AEW rivalry, again it is unlikely Vince McMahon wants Sasha Banks to give any attention to AEW and their superstars, especially one as big and high profile as CM Punk. As many of you are likely aware, later this month at the 2021 Crown Jewel pay-per-view, Goldberg will once again be returning to action in WWE to face off against Bobby Lashley in their scheduled no-holds-barred match. While Goldberg is reportedly feeling confident heading into this match at Crown Jewel, in a recent interview, Goldberg revealed some pretty bad news that could give Bobby Lashley an edge or advantage in their match, with Goldberg stating that his knee is not fully recovered or healed from SummerSlam 2021. Although Goldberg tried making it clear that he still feels he's in good enough shape to destroy Bobby Lashley and get his revenge. Perhaps this is a bit of a storyline, and Goldberg revealing that his knees are not fully healed could have been put out there so that when Bobby Lashley gets the win over Goldberg, there is a built-in excuse for Goldberg coming up short. But given the fact that recent rumors have suggested that Goldberg is going to be winning the second match against the former WWE champion Bobby Lashley, this will only make Lashley look even worse with a loss, seeing as though Goldberg is making it loud and clear that he's not 100% going into the match to begin with. Now, there has been some new information and rumors provided regarding the reasons behind the Fiend Bray Wyatt's release from WWE earlier this year, because by all means this is still very much a release or firing from WWE that does not make a ton of sense to most wrestling fans, given Wyatt's immense popularity and merchandise appeal. For those of you unaware, Andrew Zarian of the Mat Men podcast revealed that it was a number of issues that led to Bray's release from WWE, but the new information that Andrew stated was that performance issues in the ring, along with possible weight issues, could have contributed to Bray Wyatt's exit from WWE. Now, when this news started to go around that one potential reason for Bray Wyatt's release was possibly due to his weight or being out of shape, a lot of fans felt like this was an incredibly bad or nonsensical reason for Bray getting fired, and quite simply just an excuse, especially with wrestlers like Keith Lee and Otis on the roster, who certainly are not well known for their chiseled physiques. Regardless, this new information continues to make Bray Wyatt's release from WWE even more bizarre and an overall mystery, because the known reasons as of right now just don't make any sense whatsoever. Like we had mentioned in a previous video, there are rumors that WWE would like to rekindle the rivalry between Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch in the not so distant future, if and when Ronda returns. And for those of you unaware, Becky Lynch was recently interviewed by TMZ Sports, and during the interview, Becky Lynch was asked if she had any advice for Ronda Rousey on how to work out being a mother and a WWE superstar, with Becky responding by saying the following message: "Don't, because I'm still on top, Ronda. You won't like it. That's my advice." Now clearly we are beginning to witness the beginning of a new feud between Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey, and there's no doubt Ronda will likely be responding in the coming days to Becky Lynch's surprising comments about Ronda basically being wise to stay away from the WWE, especially while Becky is on top as the reigning SmackDown Women's Champion. Now, in the past few days, there have been a lot of rumors regarding Brock Lesnar's status with WWE, with most of these rumors indicating that Brock Lesnar will be leaving WWE for the rest of 2021 following his Universal Championship match against Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel 2021. And even if that is true, we know exactly when we will be seeing the Beast Incarnate back in 2022, because if you hadn't known, WWE are now advertising Brock Lesnar for the 2022 Royal Rumble on January 29th. And as expected, a lot of fans are beginning to predict that Brock Lesnar could be a legitimate favorite to win the Royal Rumble next year. And in all honesty, this would not be that surprising of a decision, seeing as though Lesnar has won the match in the past and is front and center in this Royal Rumble poster.